But yeah, just to kind of explain what we're going to talk about today, Christy and somebody else sent this suggestion for an office meeting. But I guess before I even start talking, I want to say I'm in no way an expert on this. I don't think anybody is. This is all really new. So everything I'm about to say, and that's why I said this is going to be more of a round table. Everything that we're about to talk about is really kind of speculating, and we'll just leave it at that. A lot of this is speculation, but essentially, what happened is there was a class action lawsuit in a few different states against some big brokerages, including Compass, I believe it was Compass, Keller Williams, Realty. Let me actually just look right here. I have a great article on this I'm going to share with everybody, by the way. So actually, I don't see Compass, but Keller Williams, Realty, Remax, National Association of Realtors, and a few others. And essentially, they're accusing those companies of price fixing in regards to commissions in real estate, and forcing the seller to pay for the buyer's brokerage commission. I think that's a fair summary. I've been in preparation for this reading a bunch of different articles with different opinions on this. But would you agree, Chrissy, that's a fair brief summary of what the lawsuit is about?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So I have the article that I'll share with everybody. I think everyone should read about it and be aware of it. I think there's some really good takeaways that I have. The price fixing. Let's talk about that first. The reason these companies are getting in trouble, NAR and Keller Williams and some of the other ones, is because they have in there like coaching and policies and procedures and things like that. Coaching that talks about you it can be misconstrued as being price fixing. Talks about saying you should value yourself and value your work and value the work of the buyer's broker, and you should go for less than 3% commission or 2.5% commission. And so the judge decided that was consistent with price fixing. We can argue if that's true, but it's being appealed and it's going to the Supreme Court. But the best, I think I think we don't have to worry about that first off, because anytime we talk about commissions and how to value yourself and all, it's all still case by case, right? You can charge whatever commission you want. I think everybody in our office should make sure that they're charging enough commission that is worth their time, because this is how we make a living. But ultimately, we're not in trouble there. We're not part of the Association of Realtors, and we don't have any rules or regulations for any of our agents in our office that you must charge a certain amount of commission or anything like that. You can charge whatever you want, and that's the key about that first one. So I think the price fixing in relations to us is definitely doesn't hold water. As far as the buyer's brokerage commission, I think, and this is we could talk about this all day, but I think a better conversation that we can have today is talking about just best practices for talking to your clients about commission. So I'm kind of going to manipulate this conversation to go in a different direction. But when you are talking to a seller, you should not be telling the seller that when it comes to commission, they don't have to do anything. In my opinion, if you're a seller and you list a property with a zero commission going to the buyer's broker, it's a huge mistake. It's going to dramatically affect the saleability of your home, and people are just going to request a commission anyways, and so it doesn't make sense. But if you're my seller, I'm going to say, but it's up to you. And so I think the key is just properly educating your seller. Why do you offer a commission to the buyer's broker? Number one, because it's like life insurance. Life insurance companies offer a commission to an insurance broker who brings the person to the life insurance company, right? It's incentivizing people to sell their product. And your product is your home. You're incentivizing people. You're saying, if you bring a buyer, I will pay you a commission, right? So that's number one. Number two, because most buyers don't have the money to pay their broker separately, and the buyer's broker is not going to work if he doesn't get paid. And number three, it's the norm. You want to stand out from all the other, if you want to be comparable with all the other homes that are listed for sale, other people are offering a commission. So if you don't offer a commission, it's going to make your home less attractive to buyers. But that should be conveyed to your seller. And then your seller will most likely come to the conclusion, yeah, I should offer a 2.5% commission to the buyer's broker. So I kind of stuttered through that, but I think that's the most important takeaway from this is price fixing is illegal, right? If we all get together and we say, hey, let's all bunch together, we're not going to list a home for less than 3% to the buyer's broker and us, period. That's not allowed. You can't do that. What else is illegal? Going into a listing appointment with pre-written commissions. You're not supposed. That's technically illegal. You have to go in with the commissions blank and discuss the commissions, and because it is negotiable. And so we should educate our buyers. We should educate our sellers as to how commissions work, how we're paid, and why I advise you to offer a buyer's brokerage commission. As long as you're doing that properly, and ideally in writing, maybe you're recapping when you send them back the listing paperwork to sign, just a quick recap. We discussed that we're going to offer a 2.5% commission to the buyer's broker, and I'm going to earn a 2.5% commission if I market and sell this home properly. And this is a choice that we talked about, and we came together and agreed on this. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. Again, the reason these bigger companies got in trouble is because some of the writing within their company documentation really seems like price fixing. And if you don't believe me, I'll send you the article that I read. The best article I found was on Reddit. It's really long, but it's very informative. And there's a lot in there that you're like, man, I can see where the real estate company is coming from, but at the same time, I can also see from a price fixing point of view how it sounds that way. So anyways, I'm going to stop talking and see if anybody else has opinions on this. But I just wanted to say, first off, this is not on us yet. But the best way you can avoid if this ever comes to Washington and other real estate companies in Washington are going to, the best way to protect yourself is to, in writing, educate your clients on why we offer a commission, and why we're asking for a commission ourselves, and why we offer a commission to the buyer's broker, and offer it as an option. They do not have to do it, but if they don't, it will most likely very negatively affect the sale of their home.
Yeah, I've been watching this since I think last Christmas was the first time I saw it. I used to be a Keller Williams agent, so anytime something comes up on them, it usually hits my radar. And I think probably what Christy saw was a resurgence in the media because they actually named Gary Keller as a defendant or, person in the lawsuit, like they're trying to move forward with it now. But what I've always thought is we're not realtors, so we don't have those things in our little code of ethics, written down where you can get yourself in trouble. But like you were saying, Isaac, this comes down to customs and tradition. And so when we sit down with our sellers and we're having conversations about how to put your listing in the best light, what to offer, how you're going to get the most attention, how many brokers you're going to get, those things all naturally fall together. So I've been kind of watching this subject, and when the meeting came up, I actually thought, oh, wow, is this actually happening? But it's not. We're still all in speculation mode. And I would agree, this is going to come down to conversations between listing brokers and sellers, and things are just going to go on the way they've been. I don't see any other way.
Well, I see one other way, if I can play devil's advocate. I think I agree with you, but if I can speculate what could happen, I think what could happen is some federal ruling that said the seller no longer pays the buyer's broker.
Right.
It's all kind of silly because let's talk about what that actually means. All that means is right now a buyer has to pay roughly 2.5% in closing costs, correct? Mm-hmm. Let's say they pay 2.5%, just to be simple math. And now they have to pay a buyer's broker 2.5%. Mm-hmm. So now they have 5% in closing costs. So what are most buyers going to do because they don't have 5% to pay?
Exactly.
They're just going to say in their offer, seller to pay 5% of buyer's closing costs. Mm-hmm. That's all that's going to happen. So and again, I'm totally speculating, but I'm saying worst case, they say, okay, the seller no longer pays the buyer's broker commission. You have to negotiate that in. Okay. Like that's what we'll do then. Like, I mean, that's
exactly. And it's still, Yeah, you're still trying to put your listing in the best light, and therefore you've got to offer the things that are going to bring businessmen on the other side, and that will be explained ad nauseum.
Exactly. Well, and that's what we're already doing, right? I don't know how many people have seen commissions that are 1%, or I saw one the other day that was 0% that I wrote an offer for. What did I do? I used the form 41C. Of course, I'm going to show everyone this. If you guys don't know what a 41C is,
Yes.
make it so I can share my screen.
I'm doing it. I'm fast. It's done.
Okay, if you don't know what a 41C is, here it is. This is something that I do think at a minimum, in reference to what you were saying, Shauna, it's going to become more prevalent that people are not going to want to offer a cooperating agent commission. And it does not bother me or scare me in the slightest. And the reason is this form. I tell my buyers, actually, let me back up from this form. I tell my buyers when I first meet with them, and if you guys don't do this, I really would consider developing something like this. When you first meet with a buyer, you should educate them, right? Talk to them about what they want and what they need, and talk to them about, and learn about them. Talk to them about timing and all that. We all do this, right? And then you talk about, okay, so you're in this price range. Let's look at some homes in this area. Okay, here's how I get paid, by the way. And then we talk, I'm doing this. I'm sorry, I'm totally stumbling over how I'm talking over these words. I'm normally better in this, but I'm going to blame COVID, right? But essentially, you're going to then talk to them about how you get paid. So listen, the seller generally offers a cooperating agent commission. So essentially, I bring the buyer and I represent the buyer. And when it closes, I get paid a commission out of the seller's proceeds. That's generally how it works. Generally, it's 2.5% to 3% commission. I work for a minimum of 2.5% commission. That's just that for me. That's what I have to make in order to for this to be worth my time. Does that seem fair to you? Yeah, that seems fair to us. I mean, I've never had somebody say no. They're always like, oh yeah, and the seller pays it. That's great. And I say, well, with that said, the seller they can choose to not offer that. It's pretty rare, but they can choose not to. And if that happens, I'm still going to request that we write into our offer that I still make a 2.5% commission. It still won't cost you. It'll still cost the seller. However, it'll make our offer look slightly worse than anybody else's offer that isn't asking for that.
Bingo.
And you're okay doing. And if they said no, you probably shouldn't work with them, because I don't know about you. Again, this is not price fixing. If someone's watching this video later and I'm I'm trying to find a reason to say Isaac's price fixing, I'm not saying everybody should do this. I'm saying for me personally, it is not worth my time to work for less than 2.5% commission when I know that there are other sellers and other buyers who will pay that or agree to that. So if someone isn't willing to agree to this, I'm probably not going to work with them. Not because I'm price fixing, but because I need to choose who I work with. Just like if somebody says they want to list their home for $1 million and I see it's clearly worth $600,000, I'm probably not going to take the listing. So anyways, so we use all that to say that's prepping for this. And then you see a listing that offers a 0% commission or a $500 commission or anything like that you're not happy with. You just include this form. And so you say buyer's brokerage firm, wait, which one? It's, this is it, the middle one. Additional buyer brokerage firm commission. So this is just saying that they're offering you X% of the sale price, and there needs to be an additional X%, that's lines 12 through 14, for a total commission of X%. So if they offer 1%, you'd put here 1.5%, and the total is 2.5%, right? So anyways, this is the form you need to use for that. Please, if you forget what form to use, let me know, and don't write it on a form 34 or anything like that. There's a form that's written perfectly for this. But it's just, it kind of undercuts the seller if the seller tries not to pay you a commission. You can just say, okay, well, that's fine. Then my buyer is going to keep looking, or you can take our offer, but we're going to make a 2.5% commission. And by the way, I've had these offers accepted. Like it's not like this hasn't affected my buyers. And normally when I've told a buyer, hey, we got to add a 41C like we talked about because they're offering only a 1% commission, the buyers get like kind of upset. They're like, wow, what a greedy seller. What are they thinking? So anyways, I've never had trouble with the buyer side. So anyways, I hope that's encouraging for people, and I wouldn't be worried about coming from this, as long as you're just consistently educating your clients as to what their options are, specifically the sellers.
Do you think that we're going to start seeing more listings from realtors, under NAR that are like showing a listing like the commission as like 2% or like a total of 1 or whatever? I mean, like a lower amount, Like, do you think it's going to be more prevalent to have to use that form?
I think it will be a little more, but I don't think it'll be much more. I don't know. I mean, we're all speculating. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. It might become more prevalent. I mean, to me, I almost think it'd be easier if it was just zero. Like what if they just made it so it's just zero and the buyer just has to negotiate it? Cool. Now we're all on an even playing field. Now we just negotiate it in. But to me, it kind of doesn't matter. I think the biggest takeaway for everybody here is talk to your buyers ahead of time and let them know how you get paid and that you have to get paid. And unless they want to pay you out, pay you by adding an extra down payment, adding it to like their closing costs, then the seller has to pay it. And so then we're going to use a 41C. Just make sure you're educating them properly. So then it's not going to shock them when they come, when this comes up. So I think that's the biggest takeaway, because to me, Christy, I don't really care if I see a commission that's 1%. It doesn't really affect me because I've already had the conversation with my clients.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I've never really like talked to, I mean, I haven't had to have like that conversation. I mean, I guess I just haven't with the buyer, because I'm like, oh, it doesn't even come from them. It's like not even something we have to discuss. They don't have to worry about that. But I think you're right. It has to be a conversation to have up front with everything else.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason it's so important is, okay, let's play this out. Let's say you didn't have the conversation, and then you find a home that your clients find a home, they love the home, but they're only offering a 1% commission. And then you say, well, okay, but they're only offering me a 1% commission. And they're like, oh, what does that mean? And then you have to explain it all then. And they're like, okay, well, we love this home, Christy. So like, what's it going to take to get this home? Well, like, we can still write our offer as high as you want. I'm just going to say that they pay me a 2.5% commission. Wait, so you're saying our offer is going to automatically look 1.5% worse than every other offer that's not asking that? Are you really going to cost us this home? Screw you, Christy. I'm just going to go to some agent who will work for 1%, right? But if you get them on your side to begin with, then they're like, cool, we already talked about this. We already agreed to this. And I might start leaning towards, personally, again, I'm not telling everyone to do this, but I might start leaning towards having buyers sign buyer's agreements with me, where they sign that they're agreeing that I'm not going to make less than 2.5%, period. And not because I'm going to hold them to it, right? It's not because, like, if they want to fire me, I'll let them go. Like, that's not why I do it. But I do that so that they sign it. Like, yes, we talked about commissions, and I've acknowledged that Isaac is going to make 2.5% commission if I use him as my real estate broker. So then, it's like they just have to be that much more aggressive on their offer. So, which is what
would happen if like a seller did come back and they were like, oh, we agree to all these awesome terms in the contract, but we do not agree to up the price of like the commission if they were originally offering 1%, then it really does come down to like the percent that you're taking. So then what would you do? Well, Mr. Buyer, this is not the right place.
And that's what will happen. That's why I don't understand and think this is kind of a moot point is, it's a beauty contest and a bidding war, and details in the bidding war. I don't know. I don't know.
I think I would say, Chrissy, you're my buyer. I would go to you and I'd explain what they did. And I'd say, Chrissy, this sucks. We talked about this ahead of time. I don't want you to lose this home. But have you been happy with me showing you homes and writing you offers? Have I been doing what I said I would do? Hopefully the answer is yes. If the answer was no, and honestly, Isaac, we're thinking about firing you, I'd probably just be like, all right, let's just do the 1% on, let's get out of this. But assuming that they're like, yes, Isaac, we're happy with you. Okay, well, I don't think it's right for them to demand that I take a lower commission. So I say we hold firm if you're okay with that, but it could potentially lose you this home. And so I'm going to put that on you. And if you tell me to accept it at 1%, I will do that. But I think I'd probably kind of guilt them. I would say, like, you agreed to this. We talked about this, you know, and so, but if you want to take 1.5% commission out of my pocket, then, and not, you know, compensate me for that, then that's your choice. I'm not going to make you lose this home because of that. But what do you think? And I think most buyers are going to say, yeah, you're right. F this guy. Sorry, excuse my language. They're going to be like, screw the seller. Like, this seller bought this home for $200,000 4 years ago. Like, he can afford it, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I actually think a lot of real estate brokers are going to do that. There's always going to be the cheap real estate brokers who say, I'll list your home for 1% and you get what you pay for, right? You can go get jeans at Walmart or you can go get them at Nordstrom's. And most people go to Nordstrom's because Walmart, you know, you get what you pay for. And so that's, and I literally use that example, by the way, when I'm talking to buyers and sellers. I'm not Walmart, I'm Nordstrom's. And I'm not cocky, I'm just telling you how it is, right? I'm the Nordstrom's. If you want to go to Walmart, I can tell you who they are. They rhyme with split thin. But seriously, it's like, you can go talk to them, go interview them and see if they're better for you. If they're better for you and they're cheaper for you, go for it. But I think I'll prove my value to you. So I just think it's really key to be really upfront with people about how you're paid, and recap things in writing, right? Say, I'm not telling you have to do this. This is what I'm saying I charge. And if you want to use me because you think you see value in me and you think I'm a better negotiator than most, and you think I'm going to market your home better than most, this is what it's going to cost. And if you don't want to use me, best of luck to you. And I find that when you talk confidently like that, people are like, cool, I'm down.
Yeah, I always like double skip when I see that like my commission's gonna be like, if it's gonna be like a 3%, I'm like, oh my god, this is so amazing. And now I'm like, oh wow, the possibility is like real, like this could happen. But I feel like good about knowing that there's a form to use. And yeah, I think having that initial conversation is like just the right thing that I need to start implementing.
Well, and another takeaway I have from this is maybe we need to talk to our attorney at the office and have him put together a kind of commission disclosure almost that's very simple, that just that maybe we give to our sellers, that says, I don't know. I'll let the attorney talk. I'll talk to the attorney and see if he thinks this is necessary. But maybe it's something that we just tell you guys, hey, when you go to a listing appointment, you can give this to your seller. And it just says, it explains maybe how commissions work. And in general, the seller offers a buyer's brokerage cooperating commission, but you do not have to. And then it's our job from there to educate them. Hey, this says I don't have to pay this. Why do you think I should? Well, it's not a hard conversation to explain. Like, I mean, it's just not hard. It's very simple. If you do not offer a commission, most buyers brokers are gonna be like, no, but I'm a for-profit business. I'm not a non-profit. Like,
see, that's what I thought when this whole thing came out. I thought, okay, if this really happens, you know, what changes in my speeches, you know, or what my automatic go-tos and listing appointments and whatnot. And I thought, well, you know, explain the lawsuit, what happened, the point of it, but then it's all going to come right back around to, I'm going to do the best to promote your listing online or on the MLS, and this is the way that we should present it to get the most attraction, therefore the most bids, blah, blah, blah. It all still is going to come down to custom and tradition. Unless they force us to do something differently, which I don't hear any of that. I mean, what the realtors are stuck and held to is kind of on them for having their code of ethics in the first place, other than just being a good broker. That's always been my thought. So,
well, and that definitely will change. Like, everyone's going to change their code of ethics now. I mean, and that's probably a good thing to come from this. Like your codes and rules and regulation should be very clear that commission is a negotiable item. Nothing is required. It is completely negotiable, and it is up to the seller to decide. And you cannot force a seller to do a commission. That is a good thing. That is correct. We want that in all industries. We do not want things to be. We do not want price fixing. That's for the consumer's protection. But again, I'm telling you, you should pay 2.5% to the buyer's brokerage because it'll get you more offers. I'm not saying it because, like, it's a conspiracy. It's like, I'm trying to help you sell your home. I'm also telling you, you should change the smelly carpet. Not that I work with the carpet guy.
Are you sure?
Bucks.
I don't know.
Saying it because your home will sell for more if it doesn't smell like cat piss. Like, sorry.
True story.
Oh my gosh. So, anyways, I get kind of heated about these things.
Happy.
There was definitely one tour that Isaac and I went on, and we walked in and we were like, this whole house smells like animal. It's not good.
I saw 2 Saturday night, and like one, we opened the door, piss smell really bad, so we like stood outside and looked in, and then the next one, it was smoke so bad. It was like 2 houses in a row. We didn't even go inside.
Oh my gosh.
It's all out there now. All the inventory, it's all out there. Fun to see. Yeah.
Oh man.
So along these lines, I have a question, and this is like not. I'm just honestly curious what you. This is like a common thing I debate with other real estate brokers. I'm still 50-50 on it. If you were listing your home tomorrow, would you offer a 3% commission to the buyer's broker to like, because let's just talk real numbers. Essentially, you're saying, okay, if your home's worth $500,000, I'm going to pay an extra $2,500. And the question, so if we're breaking it down into what the question really is, would you pay an extra $2,500 to potentially get a better offer by getting more offers that escalate higher? Do you think if you had to guess, because it is total guess, we won't know, but do you think you would get more offers from more people if you offer 3% versus 2.5%?
No, I personally think my house is going to sell itself. The location is something that everybody wants. People want this neighborhood and they want this lifestyle. So I feel like I would sell my house for 5% and it's going to sell itself. And I just saved a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, and you might be right. I guess the argument is if you are a real estate broker and your client, I'm not saying this is the case, by the way. I'm playing devil's advocate. And your client, you show your client 2 homes, and you really like both homes. Like they both like both homes. Like, do you think there's a chance that some real estate brokers are going to be a little more pushy about one versus the other? And if we come into a market where, let's say, it's less of a seller's market, but it's more of an even market or a buyer's market, do you think, like, I don't know. I think there's an argument to be made that I don't know. I really don't know where I stand. I'm 50-50. I think there's an argument to be made, and I might actually test it when next time I sell like a house of mine that I own, and just see it, because if I'm wrong, I lose a few $1,000s, but if I'm right, I mean, and the problem is you'll never know if you're right. That's the problem.
Well, do you push harder if it's 3% rather than 2.5%? And maybe it's subconscious, but
that's what I'm asking. Is it somewhat subconscious? Like,
yeah, I would 100% offer 3%. It's standard. Most people are going to push harder for it.
Well, and as a broker, you're going to cheese out your other brokers and go 2.5. I don't know. That's a good question.
Right. I don't know either. I'm just saying,
they work hard.
My buyer sees 2 homes and they love both homes, and they're like, "What do you think?" I'm probably like, maybe even I don't even know I'm doing it, but when I went to schedule those showings, I saw that was 3%, and I almost want to fall in love with that home more when I'm there.
I know, you're like,
for sure.
Look at all these features.
Right.
Skipping out the front door.
Even if you're not trying to do it, you might accidentally do it. So I'm, again, this is on record, so this is really damning myself if
No.
people see this. But I'm not saying I would ever do that on purpose, but it'd be really hard to be completely objective. Right?
Well, I call it like the side effects of capitalism. Capitalism is what it is in this country. Let's kind of leave it at there.
Regardless of if you want to accept it, if you see a house that's like offering 1.5% commission, you're going to be like, fuck that. I'm not even going to mention that house.
Which I would explain to, which on the other end, I explain to sellers all the time. It matters,
Just put the 41C in, right?
Capitalism is real.
So actually, that probably is a better answer to the question, because you're saying that it does matter enough to do 2.5 versus 2. So then why doesn't it matter to do 3% versus 2.5? It makes a difference. But
Oh,
it's probably
that's
because the
true.
norm is 2.5, and so we're
Yeah.
amicable to that, and it feels almost offensive if it's less than that. Whereas if someone offers 3, you're just like, oh, that's sweet, but it's not necessarily something that's going to motivate you. I think I agree with you, Christy. I think I'm like 51% on your side and 45% more. But I think there's a case to be made that if you offer
Yeah.
30%, that you might just net more. Anyways,
It also
My
depends
ve-
on the area.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
like Christy was
definitely
saying.
depends on the area. My very third house that I got a buyer into, that was 2%, Isaac, and that was the highest paid house that I ever sold, but not my highest commission at all.
I know it's crazy.
It's
That
so
extra
nuts.
0.5% makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious what you guys thought on that. Kyle Pease and I were just talking about that the other day, because he has a seller who offered 3.5% to the buyer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What the what?
Yeah, I mean that's I was thinking as I'm saying that, I'm like, oh, is that private? And I was like, no, that's all public now, so anyone can see that. But yeah, Kyle's listing he just sold had 3.5% to the buyer's broker, and Kyle said, yeah, man, I went into the appointment, and he said, well, I want to offer 3.5%. I want brokers to really want their buyers to buy this home. And he was like, marketing. I want to say he was a marketing person. Kyle, if you're watching this later, you can correct me on that. But he was like, yeah, I want to stand out. I want to be that home that everyone's like, oh, damn, I want my buyer to get this home because I'm
Oh,
3 days. And so when he said that, I was like,
Interesting.
okay, that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I think
Would that money have been better spent elsewhere, like a pre-inspection, or I don't know. That's a tough one too.
I'm not actually saying one way or another. I'm saying it's an interesting conversation.
Very interesting.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody offer a 3.5%, like ever.
Unless like on land or something, or a mobile home.
Yeah, if it's a mobile home or land, you'll see that. But yeah, standard.
Kyle does like a lot of rich listings though, right? He has like a lot of rich ones. Like they got money to spend.
I think it was like a $700,000. I mean, again, anyone can look this up, but I think it was like a $700,000 listing in Silverdale or something.
Yeah,
So,
we can just say that Kyle lists a lot of stuff in Gig Harbor. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I thought it was an interesting argument. Let me just leave it at that. It's an interesting argument, and ultimately, the fact that it's an argument this is a great way to conclude this meeting. The fact that it is an argument is the reason we tell our sellers that they should offer a commission to the buyer's broker. That really is a great way to tie it all back together. Like the fact that we're even debating maybe 3.5% makes more sense. Shows that you're not doing this because we're all in a conspiracy. We're doing this because it benefits you, the seller. That's why you do it. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. I'll send the article to Rachel to include in the recap email. If you have time to listen to, I say listen to it because I told Gary to read it to me. But if you have time to read it or listen to it, it's really informative. It tells you the whole case. And if we want to discuss this more, feel free to call me and we can discuss how to script this when you're talking to a buyer or seller. Like if you're feeling uncomfortable about asserting your value, feel free to call me and we can kind of role play. I can kind of tell you what's worked for me. So
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks guys. This was fun.
Bye.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.